Hello everyone, and this will be another commentary game. This time I'm playing, well, as always, as Japan, against kingownage second, who's playing India. This is a game from Quick Search, same as the one I uploaded before. And on Deccan you get all these extra resources, and as far as civilizations that gain from the extra resources the most, I think Japan gains the most simply. Well, British also gain a lot from the starting resources, but I think Japan gains the most simply because their shrines are so cheap, and all Asian civilizations can age up faster while not damaging their eco simply because they can age up with less villagers on the wonder. Meanwhile, European civilizations usually damage their eco by aging faster. And here you can see me getting all the yak and scouting with the orchard rickshaw. And usually on Deccan there's 4 yak, which are on east, north, west and south sides. And yeah, on basically the corners of the plateau on the middle. So you kind of know about where they should be from the start. So that's where I'm sending my explorers. You basically have to scout the edges of the plateau. Yeah. And here you can see that he's getting these 2 yak with his villager, but they didn't go towards his villager fast enough. So I stole them. And it's very important to get... I think he did a bit of a poor job as India, because he really needs those yak as India. India gains from them such a bigger advantage than I do. So I have to neutralize that advantage by stealing them. And I'm aging up with almost no villagers, simply because on such an early age up, I don't really need speed here, because he is aging up at about the same time as I am. So I can afford to age up a bit slower, simply because he won't be aging up too fast. And here I'm making a kind of a wall from water buffaloes. Okay, those are water buffaloes instead of yaks. That was a bit of a mistake, but doesn't really matter. Gathering extra resources and starting up my shrine boom. Here I see him going for the wood treasure, so I'm retreating so that he doesn't see me. He probably saw me, but he's still going for it. And I'll try to steal it. Zoom in to not make any misclicks on that crucial moment. And he got it. That's sometimes a thing in this game. Due to lag, you can never get the treasure with perfect timing, but you try your best. And sometimes you click too fast and you don't get any. Your explorer doesn't do the animation. So I'm sending my explorer to scout some more and build some more shrines. And I have made a kind of a wall with my water buffalo. Yeah, that's because I know that kingownage always does his 12 sepoy rush with India. Age up with 10 villagers, make sepoy, rush. He always does the same thing. So I'm making these water buffalo to, well, positioning them so that they're kind of a wall. And making up that barracks because with 3 villagers, simply because he aged up very fast too. Now I see my explorer. He can steal this treasure. I look away. And my explorer got stomped. So he stopped taking the treasure. Yeah, that's the thing with India. That's why you have to neutralize their explorers fast enough, because in these early engagements, those explorers can be so important. If they stun your army for a moment, then your enemy basically gets a free volley. Basically gets those 3 seconds where he can do anything. And change the early game a lot. So I send my explorers back to my town and get a full batch of units out. And I cancelled my villager for a moment. No, cancelled my 5th Ashigaru for a moment there to get my villager in queue. Now he is overextending with his explorers, so I punish him for it and kill his explorers. That's very important against India in this early stage, because he can stomp me, as I already mentioned. And I'm making Ashigarus because Yumis are kinda vulnerable. They have lower HP, so I don't want to lose any Yumis against Sepoy here. And I'll use my Ashigaru speed advantage to probably get a volley off and not take as much damage as with Yumis I would. That's what I'm trying to do. Not very successful, but yeah. So I kinda have to turtle a bit here, sit in my town center for a while. I don't have enough resources for my Minutemen, so I turtle a bit. And I realized that I don't have any coin income, while I have some spare food, so I changed my shrine to coin. Now I'm shipping Yumis, and I can push out at this stage because I already killed a bunch of Sepoy with my town center, and now I got the better mass too. Now I see some Gurkhas in, so I don't want to lose any Ashigarus, so I retreat. And yep, keeping on that Ashigaru production. I see coin treasure in my base, so I get it. Why not? So yeah, the kind of west-south side of my base is walled. That's cool, because now I only need to really worry about one side of my base. And that side doesn't have my berries. The walled side has my berries, so that means I will have to evacuate my villagers less. And here's that 100 food treasure that he was probably wanting to get a bit earlier, and he didn't because I killed his explorers. Now I'm making some Yumis because I figure, well, he's probably going to make Gurkhas, and I'm probably not going to jump into Sowar yet, so I'm making Yumis. Yumis are better than Gurkhas in Colonial for sure. Well, in any other age too, but in Colonial they have the same range, which is a bit weird because usually skirmishers have a higher range, but Gurkhas have a low range in Colonial. Gurkhas gain one range with every age. So in Fortress, for example, they will have 19 range, and Industrial they will have 20 range. Evacuating my villagers, don't want to lose any. Holding back a bit. Waiting for that another Yumi batch. And there I go, there I have my units, so I push back. Killed one explorer, which is always nice, but his explorer died in a good spot. He can probably see my wood treasure that I just got. So yeah, when you send your explorer to death, it's usually good to let him die close to the town center, because then you will be able to see some shipments. Well, against Japan you can always see shipments by looking at their deck. You can always see what shipment they have sent, at least in the early game, because Japanese shipments have that X2, the 2 times sign on a corner. So if the shipment is sent one time, that thing disappears, the X2 thing. So you can always see when the Japanese player ships their first 600 wood treasure, their first 5 Ashi, 5 Yumi, 4 villagers, 5 fishing boats treasure. No, not treasure, shipment. And that's also kind of a disadvantage for the Japanese player, but it's not that big of a deal. Because usually you kind of know what the Japanese player is doing. But yeah, it's useful to know when you're playing against Japan. There I'm doing my market upgrade, sending 4 villagers. It might seem kind of greedy, but you got to keep in mind that India gets a pretty decent economy. They can ship their 300 export and get those consulate villagers, which is rather significant. And they get all the market upgrades as well, and a villager with each shipment, so they really don't lack economy usually. At least not against non-booming civilizations. Alright. So making more shrines, making more infantry units because my infantry units are just so good, and doing more market upgrades because I kind of need them to match his economy. So I'm thinking that he's probably making Gurkhas, and now he is starting to make Sower too. So I'm starting to make Ashigaru. And he kills my explorer that I didn't notice at the moment. It's not that important. And now I'm trying to do something funky. I'm going to make gates on this side. I know his army is on the other side of the map. I saw him killing my explorer. So I'm going to make gates here to abuse the OP-ness of my Yumis. Yumis are just so good, so I want to abuse that. The fact that they're so good. Make those gates. Make his sowers rather useless. And mixing in another Rex, because I feel like my economy can support more unit production. And yeah. Now that I have those gates, I'm thinking, well, I should probably mix in more Yumis. Send Yumi attack, because my Yumi number is rather high. That's always a good card. Thinking ahead, sending the long-term cards. And making more shrines. Keeping up on that eco. Yeah, his cavalry count should be rather big at this stage. Well, it should be getting big at this point in time. I'm just pushing out to make sure that, well, not pushing out, but checking whether or not he's aging. don't wanna be too passive. I should probably be more active, send like 5 Ashigarus off to raid, but I'm not very comfortable doing that, simply because I'm lazy and I need to be safe, because his cavalry count can get big. Now I see he's a little party trying to kill my explorer, so I send my Ashigarus back to protect my explorer. And yeah, just waiting for him to push out. He usually doesn't age. It's good to know your opponents, not just playing the matchup, but also playing your opponent. And kingownage, he hasn't played Supremacy for too long, so he didn't age up. I think he could have aged up there. I don't have that many Ashigarus yet, and if he aged up with the Ceasefire Wonder and starts making Mahouts, he can do good damage here. But he doesn't age up, he stays in Colonial. Retreats back because of that wall. Yeah, that wall is so probably very annoying, so I figured that he's probably going to the other side to go in my base through there. And that's what he's doing. So I already have 50 Yumis. So I'm switching all my economy back to coin, because I don't really need any more Yumis than that. Making a stable with a lot of villagers, because I figure he's probably, after this engagement, he's probably making just Gurkhas and Sower. My units get stuck, so I delete the shrine to get them out, and save my economy. And yeah, now it's just simple battle. Got to position my Ashigarus in front, my lame musketeers, and Yumis in the back to deal high damage. So I don't know, my units are walking a bit weird. The unit control wasn't that good from me, but my Yumi count is big. Now I have the Daimyo, so they also do very high damage, so he really has to retreat or get a really big batch of Sower in. Sower, yeah. Now I'm thinking, well, I won that battle, so I can probably boom a bit more. My Naginatas are going to be out in a moment's time, so I'm not too worried. I can also use my Daimyo to soak up a bit of damage. He has high hit points, so it's always nice. And now my Naginatas are just getting free hits off his Gurkhas. He is not doing a good job of making his sepoy go into melee mode. So yeah, I'm just walking closer to keep dealing good damage, splitting my army up because he's splitting his up, and sending my daimyo in to attack just to slow his units down. He doesn't really want to go for it because he won't get my daimyo at this stage, unless he has some Zamborax hidden, which he doesn't. So I won that engagement pretty successfully. Now I just got to keep massing and keep booming. Booming is important. I see that my berries are running low, so I ship to cherry orchards. And I want to keep booming, but my explorer is dead, so I make a risky decision to go and rescue my explorer with a daimyo. It's probably not a good idea since I had a cavalry batch just coming, so I could have just sent those cavalry to raid and rescue the explorer. Revive, that is. But yeah, doesn't really matter. And I know his economy is pretty big, so I got to keep booming. I cancelled the shrine that was towards the fort because I don't want my explorer to get spotted again. So I make a shrine that is less towards the Agra fort, because Agra fort gives a significant line of sight. Now I just balance my economy so that most of my villagers are back to food. Also change my shrines up to food because that's the more, how do you say it, villager effective resource to put my shrines on. And I send my cavalry to raid because I can afford that. I don't think at least I'm in a position where he probably won't be able to pressure me that much, so I can afford to split my army up. 4 Naganatas would probably be better to raid. 5 is a bit of a overkill, but well, what good is a single Naganata left in my army? Of course, now I have more Naganatas, so I could have probably done that. He's coming in my base. I'll probably lose some villagers that I forgot to put in my town center, but now I'm just focused on my Yumi getting hits off, getting in the correct position, which is basically between these buildings and the cliff, so that his sowers get less of a cover. They cover less surface of my Yumi, so that they can get less hits off. So see that they have to walk around. Also, just look at it. He also has some units stuck. He has a bunch of sowers, 2 sowers stuck in between my Wonder and Market. So yeah, his sowers had to go all the way around, so they weren't doing damage while I was. That's the advantage of having ranged units. And this battle actually was pretty close. I wasn't expecting it to be that close, but he was able to get to mass a bunch of units up very fast. Now I'm thinking that because of my raids and because he's running low on hunts, I should probably be able to put an end to his eco, because he hasn't been sieging my shrines and he has been booming, so he will probably soon run out of hunts. My mass is good enough to deal with this little sower force. And I also have a good Ashigaru reinforcements, so I'm thinking, yeah, this is game over. And it was. It's good to always know your opponent and know that he's, for example, this guy always does a 10-10 rush, so I always know what I'm facing. And yeah, you can see I'm comparing my economy. He did have a significant economy advantage, but yeah, as Japan, you always want to have these good engagements. Your units are so good that you can get better trades off. So I was winning engagements, and that's why his economy didn't matter. Didn't kick in that much, because he was losing more units. And yeah, in the end I was able to raid him, and he wasn't able to gather any more food, so he resigned.